Hi there, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we're going to be installing a Solera Slide Topper on our 2024 Jayco Jay Feather. So a slide topper like this is always a great addition to your camper. You just have to think of all the rainwater and sticks that are going to land on top of your box here. And then when you go to slide it in, if you don't think ahead and clean this off, all of that's going to go into the inside of your camper. One other reason is that this is going to keep the sun off the top of your box here. So it's going to make your air conditioner have to work less. It's going to keep the inside of the camper a lot cooler. So today we installed a black slide topper. However, this same slide topper is available in white. So you have a couple options there, just depending on the trim and everything on your camper, or just personal preference. This Solera slide topper has a fabric that's a very durable vinyl fabric. It's going to be resistant to cracks and cold temperatures, and it's also mildew resistant. To ensure that you have the correct size slide topper, just measure from the end of your T-channel to the other end, and then plug that measurement into our fit guide, and that'll help make sure that you pick the correct size. You'll also have to double check your camper. Just make sure that from the edge of your slide out, you have at least 7 inches from anything that's mounted, say it be another awning or something like that. If you have another slide out here, you'll have to ensure that you have 14 inches of clearance. If you do not have 14 inches of clearance, then you'll just have to go a size down on the slide topper. As far as install goes, it's a pretty simple job. The only thing you need is a couple extra sets of hands just to slide the bead in. Other than that, it's a pretty easy job, and I'll go ahead and show you how to do it now. Starting out our install, we're just going to lay all of our parts out, make sure everything's there. And the first thing we're going to work with today is these 2 brackets. We're going to start out by getting some butyl tape on the back of it. Cut the end off. We'll get another layer on top of that. It'll help to peel back this a little bit. Just try to get the 2 as close as possible. You'll peel that backing off. As you can see now, I have those holes covered up, and you can kind of smash these 2 together. Once we install it, that'll all get smashed, so it should be fine. We're just going to slide it up as high as we can go onto this part right here, and slide it into our corner here, and push it down. It's stuck on there good. Now we can put our countersunk screws. Make sure you have the square head with the square bit with the flat head. And with that screw going through the butyl tape, it's going to push it in and seal that hole. And just do that with the rest of the screws. Another thing I wanted to mention, you just want to make sure that these screws are either flush or past flush. Because if you don't get them flush and you can still feel these bolt heads, then you're not going to be able to slide the other bracket through. You'll have to check and see if your camper already has an extrusion rail on it. The one that we're working on today does not, so we're going to go ahead and use the included extrusion rail. And first I'm going to have to put some butyl tape on the back of it. For the butyl tape on this, you're just going to cover the holes. It's going to be the same as that other one that we did, except for there's only 1 strip. So start at the end and work your way down. It's also a good idea to have another set of hands when you have an awning this long, just to help you hold it up in place. So we're going to go ahead and stick this channel up now. In the instructions it does say to be at least 4.5 to 7.5 inches above this T-channel. However, we don't have quite that much room with our setup here. It also says in the instructions to have this lip on the bottom, but to get another inch of room, we're going to flip it around upside down, and it should just be fine. Just get it up where you want and start working your way down, pushing that in. I'm going to go ahead and start installing all of my screws in here. These are going to be the round head with the square bit. You just want to work your way down and make sure every hole has a screw in it. So now I've got this last screw in here. We've determined that we're going to slide the awning in from this side. So what I'll do is go ahead and bend these down just a bit. And this top one's going to be tough to get to, so I'm going to stick a screwdriver in here. Bend it up just a bit, and that's just to keep it from catching on the fabric and cutting it up as we slide it in. Now we're ready to get working on our awning here. We're going to take this extension rod. You'll see the holes going through. That'll correspond with the hole here in the awning. You'll take your bigger Phillips screw, and that'll go right through there, just to hold that rod in place. You'll repeat that process on the other side. Just make sure when you unroll it, you get over that rod. Now with the help of a couple friends, we're going to lift the awning into place. Just going to slide it into that channel that we put up here. So on the back of our bracket, we're going to have 4 slots. These upper slots will bring that awning down lower. The lower slots will bring it up higher. We're going to use these lower ones because we have that channel that we're trying to avoid removing. So just slide it into that rod on the awning. Get it lined up with your bracket. Slide it into place. Now that we've got the awning in place, it's just a matter of making sure it's centered on each side. So just making sure that your distance from the T-channel is the same on each side. We've got our awning centered here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put these Allen grub nuts into the bottom holes here, because that's what part of the bracket that we use, and that'll hold that bracket in place. We'll repeat that process with the grub nuts on the other side. We'll need to put 2 screws here just to hold this rod in place. So we'll start on this one. And on these, you want to make sure that you're just going to feather it on there, just in case. You don't want to hammer down too hard on these because the head of this screw will break. Once I got that one in, we'll repeat the process on the other side. So you'll spin the roll and then pull this pin out. There we go. Here on the other side, we're going to pull this clip out. It's the same process. Turn the awning just to release the pressure on this pin. There. And you'll want to make sure to set this aside in a safe space, because you may need it later anytime you're about to maintain this awning or anything like that. And also, once you release that pin, make sure you have a good grip on the awning here, because it's going to try to spin really fast. So to slowly let that unravel. Now that we've got everything attached, it's a good idea to slide your box out and then slide it back in, just to make sure you don't need to make any adjustments, and then we can tighten down that bead. Now that we got the awning all attached, it's a good idea to slide your box out and then slide it back in, and then just make sure you don't need to make any more adjustments up top. Now that we've got everything adjusted, we got as many wrinkles out as we can, we're going to go ahead and put these set screws in here, which will hold the bead and the entire curtain in place. However, when you would usually screw it through the top, we have this gutter here on our way. So we're going to go ahead and bring the box out a bit so I can put that screw in from the bottom. We'll repeat that process on the other side. The last step of our install is going to be to slide these covers on. You'll do that on each side. And that's going to do it for our install today. If you have any other slide toppers on your camper that you're going to install, then just repeat the same process. But if not, this has been Jesse, and I hope to see you soon.